Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I am not Michael. So advertised to speak today was an American. He is very apologetic. He has COVID-19. So he is not here to keep up the white guy quotient, proportion of the speaking. You have me instead. So we're bringing up the presentation. I want to talk today, to posit my talk, I'm going to draw on the two previous conversations. And I want to talk about this smart city idea. First, I want to start with some definitions. When we used to talk about the smart city 20 years ago, it was what we call today the knowledge city. So that is the idea that we will increase the proportion of work that is knowledge work, creative class types and others. We will try to co-locate universities, research institutions and others in innovation precincts, and we'll really try to drive the knowledge economy. So Songdo in Korea, Lusail in the UAE, these kind of specific locational investments in place to increase this. And this is what we used to call the smart economy, smart cities. And then the IT firms, particularly IBM, but also Cisco, started to use the same term and market it as something different. And this was the idea that you, in your local government, you should buy the IBM tech to monitor all your city and have dashboards and other things that tell you about the functions of your city. And they will start to talk to your city leaders and say to them, you know who the most important planner in your city is? It's not your chief planner or your politician in charge of planning. It's your chief information officer. And when I first heard this, I was at the back of a room of planners, and there was someone from one of these companies, I won't say which, saying this crap, and I yelled out, boo, from the back of the room, because I found this a really dangerous idea that we are giving up planning to the big IT firms. What they are selling is the digital city of sense and response, of intelligent sense and response, whether it's with AI or whatever else. So we've gone through these transitions. We've digitized all the elements of the city. We're still trying to bring up the presentation. I saw it earlier. I know it exists on this machine over here. But we are moving into this world of the intelligent city of sense and response. Okay, we are here. Yeah, and I'm the fat, overweight, bald guy who has, yesterday, I had a Thai baby growing from too much Thai food at the restaurant last night. Okay. So I talked yesterday about healthy cities, healthy places, and this idea of healthy city planning that is starting to come in and being embedded into planning schemes and other planning frameworks in Australia. This is a good thing, but at the moment it's a lot of talk. These are the kinds of things we want to see. Safe cities, particularly for women, children and others. We want to see convenient access. We talked about that yesterday. Easy to get around, accessible, adaptive, responsive, etc., etc. So we want all of these things. The smart city agenda can help us get there. But much of what is being actually done by the big IT firms, particularly the big four in the US, and some of these other firms like IBM and Cisco, is not necessarily delivering us this. They are selling us things that we will love, where there is a business case, where there is a profit margin, but they are not always investing in other things. And we've had great problems with the smartphone and what is happening with Instagram and the kinds of technologies. It is leading to proto-fascist politics in countries around the world, the return of fascism. We have great problems in Australia with young women and young men with depression, and increasingly with older men and rage, brought about by the attention economy and the digital smart devices. We're selling rage to old men. Rage increases your attention, but leads to bad health. And it's a terrible predatory economy that has started to emerge. We need to fight this. But there are ways that this smart city technology, this intelligent city of sense and response, can be used for good and not for evil. Now, there's one key element, a key determinant of health, as our general practice medicine student asked yesterday, key determinants of health that we have not discussed at all yet in these sessions. And I want to ask, if you know exactly what this camera is because you've worked with this technology, don't put up your hand. But for everyone else, what might this device, this was the first one trialled in Sydney in Australia, what might this device be doing looking at the urban environment? Can anyone have a guess? What might this device be doing? Have a guess. Have a guess. Is it one of these cameras looking down, looking at whether you're on your mobile phone, and then fine you in my city over $1,000 US? Over $700 if you're on your phone. Big fines in Brisbane if you're on your phone. Imagine that in Thailand. Woo! We'd make a lot of money. No, it's not one of those. Yes, sir. It is data analytics, but what data is it capturing? There's two items of data that it's capturing. So down below we see two sensors, and up above we see another sensor. What is that black licorice icy pole thing up in the sky? What is that?
Like noise?
Right, noise. Noise is the thing that we have not been talking about. In a healthy cityscape, noise is the hidden killer. And in Asia, it is particularly bad, particularly in the motorcycle cities. Guess where we are here in Thailand? It is a hidden killer. Now, it's not just this. I've done work on live music in my city with honours students, planning students. We've gone and we've been looking at live music. We want to keep live music. It's a good, healthy activity. We want children and young people to be able to experience live music. We want to keep this nighttime economy going, the healthy aspects of the nighttime economy, not the drunken Australian, go on the road, not that part of the nighttime economy. So, noise. Noise and vibration. If you cannot sleep at night, your health falls apart. Cardiovascular disease, strokes, a reduced immune system, far more likely to catch colds, flus, COVID, or any other disease from pathogens. If you cannot sleep, your work productivity falls, your mental health deteriorates very quickly. Anxiety, depression, you name it. We don't talk about it much, but it is the hidden killer in our cities. This is the decibel scale. It's an exponential scale. You probably remember this from like year 9 at high school. You were probably taught about this. Cars, stink cars and stink trucks are at the level where their vibration and the noise is sufficient to stop you sleeping. If you do not have sufficient barriers at your house to stop that noise penetrating. I'm up on the 18th floor up here. Fantastic. I am isolated from the noise here. Last time I was in Bangkok, I was so stupid. I stayed near Koh San Road, and there is just all this boom, 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 going till about 3 a.m. from the nearby nightclubs. I did not sleep. Not a great tourist experience either. So, stink cars and stink motorbikes. Sorry for those who were not here yesterday. The stink car is the name we need to call the internal combustion car. We need to make it very clear to people it's an offensive vehicle that is no longer welcome in our cities. We need to transition to electric motorbikes. We need to transition to electric vehicles. Quiet vehicles that do not have this impact. Road noise gets right into your ear. It causes these effects. And we have new technologies to sense it and to now deal with the offensive vehicles. So the device I showed at the start is the kinds of devices we used to not be able to detect an actual vehicle in the traffic stream as being the offending vehicle. We used to not have the technology to be able to sense and intelligently respond to these noise issues. The technology now exists. Here's an example from an installation in New York. This is a slightly different microphone. 2 cameras pointed different directions. We know exactly which vehicle is causing the explosion in the decibel readings. If it goes over the limits for that vehicle, we can instantly fine that vehicle and send off to its driver that you are not operating within the limits. You will now have to pay. Do you know the company that is most frightened of this technology in the world? Harley Davidson. They have knowingly, for years, supplied the Australian market with vehicles that breach the noise levels for safe and healthy operation of vehicles in my country. Ha 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 ha. They have been telling people where these cameras, the motorcycle clubs in Australia, tell their members where these cameras are, so never to go near them. But we can start to get these vehicles, vehicles that got broken mufflers. This is what you see with this kind of technology. The cars coming both directions and the spike in the decibel readings accordingly. And they can identify a single car. Usually it's when a single car is coming down the roadway at night, for instance. Bang. Very easy now to get the... Okay. Yesterday, we heard from the Deputy Mayor that there's a 3-tier funding system for government in Thailand. So you have a national government that I think has all the money. You have provincial governments that have some of the powers. And you have local governments who just have the problems. Is that right, Pawani? You're laughing at me. They have not much money. They have some of the powers, but not really. But they own a lot of the road network. And they have to maintain and deliver that road network. So is there a way we can improve city transport, reduce road trauma, and help the deputy mayor, the deputy mayor of the city, the deputy governor of Bangkok yesterday, deputy governor, yes. How do we help him find new funding? The answer is that we all need to change the way we pay for our road travel, because fuel taxes are disappearing in the world. Because as stink cars go extinct, make the stink car extinct. Join me in this campaign to make the stink car extinct. We have to go to road pricing. We have to move to a system where we pay for our travel according to how far we go and the type of vehicle we have. And when we move to that system, it's easy to adopt congestion pricing. So congestion pricing has been entering new markets around the world. We've just had one of the world's most interesting urban experiments because New York has just introduced congestion charging. Notice that they still get the language wrong. But finally, they brought in some language that starts to make sense. Congestion relief zone, not a congestion charging zone, a congestion relief zone. I want to change the name of congestion charging. I want to call it decongestion charging. Because at the moment, in many cities, like my city, we have this toll road under the city where we want the traffic to go. And we've put a toll on the roadway under the city where we want the cars to go. It costs them like $5 to drive underneath the city, where we want them to go. But we keep the surface streets where we don't want the traffic, we keep them free. So in my city, we have increased congestion charging. The way that the policy system works is to actually increase congestion. We need decongestion charging in our cities. Okay, so what happened in the last 6 months when they introduced congestion charging in New York? It worked. Guess what? It decongested the city. Travel times on key links and key routes improved significantly for the traffic that was willing to pay the charge. $9 for a standard private passenger car. If you were a Grab or Uber taxi or a yellow taxi, you're paying $2.50 every time you go in and out of the charge. For a private car, $9 per day. So if you go in and out, it's still $9. And at night, when there's less congestion, the charge is very little, $2.50. It's the kind of thing that, I don't know, a really congested inner city of a Southeast Asian metropolis that has major congestion problems. I don't know whether it's called Jakarta or Kuala Lumpur or even Bangkok. This kind of idea could work quite well. So travel times improved, which is what we want to see. But they went up even more for buses, which were no longer stuck behind the traffic. Even some of the routes outside the congestion zone improved their travel speeds. So some of the benefits actually went outside. Crashes fell significantly. Now, the least crashes happened during COVID. But we're getting back to almost COVID levels of crashes in New York. Not just due to congestion charging, but due to some other aspects as well. Everything gets better on the left under congestion charging. They've now done studies asking people about their acceptance, their political acceptance of congestion charging. Even car drivers that drive into the congestion zone now accept that congestion pricing is a good idea. On average, they would vote for congestion charging if they had to have a plebiscite today. It's become politically too popular to remove. And yet the politics of bringing it in a car-owning democracy or a motorbike-owning democracy is really difficult. I've just hit the wrong button. Okay, we heard yesterday about this problem of disconnected public transport services. Are there smart city technologies that can help with that? And of course, we've heard one of them mentioned already today. So we've had this problem in Australia that everything is disconnected. If you want to find your local bus stop, you probably have to use Google Maps or one of the mapping techs to actually find that. The best app for using the local public transport network is our local TransLink app, because the Google doesn't always tell you that the station is not working properly at this site and this isn't happening and blah, blah, blah. To use the inner city buses, you have to use another app, and there's yet another app for the intercity rail. None of them are connected. How do we do all this? This is the mobility as a service idea. So we've been tracking mobility as a service. It's not working great. Vim, the Finnish company that was leading in the world, has gone broke. Mass is really struggling. We've been looking at whether there are aspects. So this is my route from Japan. The Japanese have done fantastic work, particularly thanks to Toyota's involvement and investment in this, and actually doing some of the world's first tourism mass, bringing in visitor economy aspects into the mobility as a service paradigm. And it looks like there may be more of a business case if you do that. More of my route. Yeah. So bringing in your information, your route searching, how you get everywhere, your reservations, your payments, your ticketing, your real-time information, places to go, discounts, offers, things to change your behavior, gamifying your experience. And so a very large trial of this has been happening in Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So Odin Pass. And the idea here is it is like the Lord of the Rings. One ring to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. One app that to bring them all together and in the light bring them together and give everyone satisfaction. So we've been offering this to our students at Griffith University and at the University of Queensland, bundles that you can buy, and it gives you all the different modes of transport in the city. Buses, trams on the Gold Coast, heavy rail, the ferry system that's very popular in Brisbane, Neuron and Beam, the little electric stand-up scooter companies that operate in our city. Not great safety records. We need to improve the safety there. E-bikes, some taxi discounts and Uber discounts, and some other benefits, including car sharing. So there's car sharing cars at our university campuses, and you get certain amounts of where you actually get to drive the car yourself and use it for certain things. The students mostly use it to go to the alcohol shop on the weekend. Terrible. But anyway,
it's
okay.
safer than driving.
So we've been researching this and looking at this and these systems. What we are discovering is things that the tourism economy people are discovering, things that they did not understand. For instance, it's seniors that are using a lot of a larger number of seniors are using these motor scooters, the electric motor scooters, to get around our northern cities, the tourism cities like Townsville, than they expected. And when we've gone and done studies on these visitors, those who are using these technologies are going to more mum and dad local businesses, not the big businesses, but the local business, spending money in local shops, local cafes, and that money stays in the local area because that business is more likely to have a local accountant, a local lawyer. They send their kids to the local private school. Whereas if you go to the Reef Casino, that's owned by people internationally. The money goes out of the city. It goes to, they don't use a local lawyer. They don't use a local, So mum and dad spending in mum and dad businesses in the local area is really great. But we've had a problem, and I might have just killed my slide. Our local government has now, our state government has just brought in another enormous urban experiment. They have decided basically that we will have nearly free fares for public transport in all of Queensland. Now costs you 50 Australian cents, about 35 US cents to go on any trip on public transport in my region or in any of the cities in Queensland. That includes a 1-hour train journey from the Gold Coast to Brisbane, 35 cents. It is the most interesting urban experiment in fair policy of our time. Maybe I can talk a bit about that in question time. But we need to be the people who make the decision about what smart technology comes into the city and what policy purposes it is used for, and that it is used for good and not for evil. Because not always do the big IT companies have the citizens' best interests at heart. So think noise and the noisescape of your city, if you're thinking healthy cities, and think how best to harness the best of the smart city technology for what we really need to achieve in our cities. Thank you.